to have you here, and maybe Rosalie and everything, and looking forward to this. I want to get as much of that plan out to people. You've been working on that for these many decades, and welcome to Conversation. Pleasure to welcome to the program a dear friend of mine and of the world, and that's Joe Friendly. He's a pioneer public access producer. It goes way back, I guess, to the early 70s that he's been involved, and he's got a daily series here on MNN called Truth for a Change, which is really like C-SPAN of the intellectually inclined community in a very real sense. It is a great service to the world. And Joe, so welcome very much. It's so good to see you again, my brother. Yeah? If I may parenthetically say, I know, Joe, from being a good friend of yours, that you've been working on a thing, an idea, a plan for a revolutionary change when the time comes.
That would be a good time for it to come up on the video.
Yeah, to get a... and this time now, with all the mishigash and the mix-up of the economy, this is a time. Yeah, okay. Maybe you could
put on the DVD while he's talking.
Maybe you could put up that DVD. This is a good time to be thinking in revolutionary terms because it's up for grabs, in a certain sense. For a lot of people who've been thinking comprehensively, you're one of them. So take it away, Joe. Tell us about yourself a bit, and then get up to your plan, and then we could put that up and let people know about it.
I wanted this program to be historic.
Mm-hmm.
And coming here on the subway, I was imagining how what I had to say was so important that you actually saw the logic of giving me...
No, we're not going to go to that, Joe. But put away the duct tape, Doctor. He's going to duct tape my mouth shut. I will. Why don't we do an experiment? I'll try to be just really quiet and let you talk, okay? We won't try the duct tape. Not the duct tape. Not the duct tape. Anything but the duct tape. No, you see.
No, you see this, Harold?
Yeah.
Now, what do you see here?
I see duct tape.
But here's the point, Dave.
Yeah.
Here's the point. I just took my razor blade to trim it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very precise, very precision-oriented. He always is. Got everything in order. I'm feeling very nervous. I'm feeling rather like a turkey on the day before Thanksgiving.
There, I trimmed it a little up right here.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe a week before the
there
day
we go.
Thanksgiving. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's nice. It's like oh, you got a smile. He's got the smile. He's got the smile. And he wants to put duct tape over my mouth with a smile written in by. We're going to let people know the way that would look. And there. Now, are you on him? Yeah, show what you're doing, Joe. Maybe hold it up and see how it looks to the camera, could you?
Well, I guess they were looking at your agreement with the concept, but yeah, we shouldn't miss that. There I was. I trimmed the smile nice.
Mm-hmm.
It was 3
Show
pieces.
it to the camera, Joe, if you could. No, this one. This is your camera here. Mm.
So we should, we can trim it a little more.
This is plank number 1 in his world plan to save
I thought I
revolutionize the world.
I did have witnesses to the proposition that when I said, Harold, if you want to increase your viewer rating at YouTube by a factor of 1 million.
Yes, right.
And he said, I'll do whatever you ask, O Lord of a million.
I'll do whatever Joe Friendly says.
And then he raised his right hand and gave his solemn word. There, I just improved on the smile a little.
We have a breaking news. The pattern,
I was going to make a deal,
your plan is now scrolling on the thing. Oh, and it's very good, though, because they've supered it over you, so that's very good. And this
I like it. I like it. It's a good super. But seriously,
hold it up and show.
Is this good for a
let me demonstrate. Let me demonstrate.
No, here's the I got a whole special deal for you. I gotta, because I am a merciful God. What I was going to do.
I know it's for my own.
I was going to put a little napkin over the mouth part
to make it a little more comfortable. Yes, right. This is not Abu Ghraib, right? Okay, I see. Now he's done that. He's done that, and this is for the good of humanity. This is for the good of humanity. Now, let me demonstrate it. Let me demonstrate on the camera, right? Like, I'll demonstrate. Let me show. See what the audience thinks. How does this look? How does that look? Hello, I'm trying to talk and I can't
talk because I got this damn duct tape all over my mouth at the suggestion of my good best friend Joe Friendly, who suggested I just shut up and let the people talk. Can you hear me, world? Can you hear me?
All right, enough of that for now, Joe, because I can't. That's a good idea, and it gives you some indication of the importance of what Mr. Friendly has to report and doesn't need to be interrupted by my chatter. So, but tell us a little bit about, because your plan is running now. You can see, Joe. They got your plan?
The plan, Joe, the plan.
You see, it's over me now, but on the screen. Look at the screen, Joe, if I may.
I don't have my glasses.
Okay.
I can't read it anyhow.
Okay.
But I do. What the plan stands for.
Yes.
Is the excitement that could develop around a new language, a new art form, something as exciting as a hula hoop. Joe Friendly has actually come up with a way of using Madison Avenue trickery in manipulating census, or to put it better, to ride the cutting edge of discovery that we have not really modernized our presentation of text, that in the current edition of the Village Voice that came out 2 days ago, make that 1 day ago, they have the school crossing sign changed, that instead of 2 kids crossing, each holding a book or bags of books, each one is holding a laptop. And so we have actually now achieved, instead of pencils, laptops. And what my revolution is the first inspired breaking of ground using this technique to offer a political alternative. This might get a word out of you, but fight it off, Harold,
okay.
where I talk about
listening.
how you have remarked that the name of my first television series in Manhattan, I chose for the title Fundamental Change.
Yes.
And the reason was that it was pretty clear to me then, in the 60s, and in the 70s, when I came to Manhattan in 73, I was already equipped with scripts, charting out a revolution by means of words combined with animations, combined with little dramatizations, in which I spelled out how life is needlessly miserable, that having a job, as it has been offered to the public, is a sucker bet, a losing choice, a path to misery. And the story of Job in the Bible is saying, tough shit, settle for it, that's what you get, Joe Citizen. Oh, I got to take a drink of water.
Take a drink of water.
So what I've discovered is that the public is, what can I discover? So I try to experiment with putting into words in some way that I could be so definitive, so powerful, like the power of poetry, combined with the power of television, combined with the power of electronics, all that in the solar energy, So that's what those words were. But to tell you the truth, these are obsolete words, that these words were penned in 95. And they were looking to the year 2000 when we would heed what the Bible says and take advantage of that in God we trust rhetoric and wipe off debt and also free people from prison.
Jubilee.
That the Bible says 2000 would be the Jubilee time. You agree?
Yeah.
So we faked it, we blew it. As a civilization, we were so corrupted that we really aren't a civilization of God. We just fake it and use that kind of language. But in fact, we are a Babylon, a Sodom and Gomorrah, a nasty, miserable, rotten, monstrous force unto the world. And we've been using money as a system to make people miserable around the world. In other words, it's a very subtle, invisible form of leather harnessing, but we have used our money system to cut to the chase. Now we're about to suffer it ourselves. We have allowed our government. I have a little picture here. I found it.
Let me hold it.
Okay, you can hold it.
I'll hold it.
Okay.
You can talk to it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I just found a picture, and basically what that is national debt. And you know, it looks very similar. I have a poster in my house of the use of oil. that the use of oil has gone from hardly any to the full load of all the oil on the earth. I mean, we have already blown half of the oil on the earth in 100 years that took 200 million years to create. So that is a high order of irresponsibility in terms of not sharing with future generations the blessings of the earth. We already blew half the blessings of the earth, our inheritance. Oi. So in terms of the need for fundamental change, the language is enough. Okay. The language has finally been uttered by the presidential candidates of note, but the fact is that they would be a continuance of our being a sham democracy, not a real democracy. That we have money changers in the temple, that our legislative lawmaking body is a imitation of representative government. It is ruled by lobbyists who are simply just the agents for the rich and powerful. But more particularly, what makes my feeling of obsolete about these words on the screen is that they were so U.S.-centered. And the big number is that half of the billions of people on the planet live on less than $2 a day. Or to make that clear, 700 and some change, $2 a day, yeah, so that's like less than 1,000 a year, less than 800.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of a redistribution of wealth, my role in history, I think, is to be the one to offer a coherent alternative in which we get past that line of reconsidering the distribution of wealth. And what I say is, let us draw us a picture with more or less a blank slate. Don't worry about who owns what now. Just talk about who should own what in the future. And let's just design ourselves a society, and let the design itself be the justification for replacing the current system of who owns what. And here's the language of the new version that isn't on the screen. I'll just read the first page. Joe Friendly's plan for a friendly revolution, a legal revolution. Revolution made simple. Some principles articulated, some new political forms, so a peaceful but total revolution may proceed gracefully. You know, I got to clear my throat. I can hear it. Oi, tone it down. I'm going to make such a clearing.
I'll take advantage of the clear my throat, and Rosie can clear her throat, and we'll all, and back to the business.
It was like a drum roll. A peaceful but total revolution to proceed gracefully, a changing of the guard, a new set of people to run our government. Our future arrived at by a full talking out as a whole people of the possible, as compared with what is. Ownership up for full reconsideration. Property rights surrendering to human design, building a monument to human intelligence. You people of goodwill who have hoped reason might prevail. A solution to the problem we face as a people of this country, of this planet. How to save America from its decline. How to make the changes we need. Here is spelled out an alternative. Well, you know, here I'm listening to this language, and I guess as a manifesto it's okay. And again, these words are to be the ones on the screen.
Yeah.
This is the script.
Yeah, you have another set going on the screen now, but yeah.
Oh. Spelling out what needs to be spelled out. Principles of an enlightened social order. A plan for the salvation of America. So, the main thing is it too much to ask for justice? I'm saying we really have to, that's one of the ingredients to this plan. We want justice to happen. And by justice, I mean that a distribution has to be considered fair by all considered, you know.
That's
not
interesting, all considered,
That's a yeah, well, almost all.
Okay, well that makes a little difference maybe, but okay, yeah.
Did I lose the mic? Yeah, I felt like. All right, this is the shot that everybody has been pleading for. This is going to improve your ratings even without the tape. I'll stick it right on the beard.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that'll get it clear.
So I was reading you can see how I got new language here for a change.
Yeah, I know you've been working on it for 20 years.
So what do we want? I was saying we want justice. We want a economic power and public communications in public hands so that everyone can find work worth doing, which right now, a lot of the jobs don't pass that test. A good life worth living, that involves a lot of what you're doing, what you're a participant of. If you're part of a government that does good in the world or a government that bombs and destroys and kills and murders. Did I say that? Where justice abounds and truth. Now, that's another problem we got. We have a little truth shortage going on.
Truth for a Change is the name of your series,
So I'll even take off my hat for that situation.
You want to take off your hat? Take off your hat to Truth for a Change, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
So that idea of work worth doing. Let's jump to a bigger one. Past what I've written down here, although I think it comes up later. What we're talking about is identifying the enemy not as capitalism, although in fact that is the enemy, but using a different language. A relative of capitalism, commercialism. And we have our propaganda apparatus has invested a lot in giving good vibes to the words like free market, free trade. I was in Seattle to oppose that, but I have been puzzled how we are going to rescue America from the grip of commercialism on our culture.
Right.
And we have to rescue our culture from commercialism. And what commercialism is, the mentality of the marketplace, is do whatever you can get away with as long as it's legal enough that you won't get caught. But it is pretty close to minimal when it comes to morality. And what we want to be a healthy people, to be a real democracy, for truth to really prevail, we have to be a moral order. And the idea is to be a moral order without religion as we know it, without having to cop to fantasies that are kindergarten fare. That what we're talking about is a man-to-man acknowledgement of what principles we want to hold sacred together. And truth is one of them, and I think it's reaching some to talk about justice. But with my scientific discoveries of birthday, I see new hope for getting solid about justice. Because right now, justice is so elusive, so rare. Our best grip on justice is really the movies, that the script writer can create a story in which there is some sense of justice if he chooses to write that into the plot. But, well, there I went. Anyhow, so rescuing our society from commercialism and coming up with words in a manifesto to say, hello, let's not use the Marxist rhetoric of worker exploitation anymore. A new rhetoric I also want to use that I was saying off camera was from Robert Jensen, whose birthday is July 14th. But anyhow, just no big deal. All he just happened to throw out, I forgot what it was now. Let's see. I lost it there. I got it again. I found it. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Instead of picking on the rescuing our culture from commercialism, he looks at it in terms of hierarchies are bad. And I agree with that the idea of democracy was basically an argument against hierarchy.
Yeah.
And equality means that your testicles are just as precious as the next guy's insofar as the insult of somebody taking orders as opposed to being reasoned with.
Okay.
So the democracy idea is two people have a talking exchange and they talk about their ideas, and the one convinces the other to change in some way to accommodate the other idea with a kind of a spontaneous agreement.
Okay.
Now, if money has to be introduced to make that agreement, that's kind of a human tragedy. It would be better if it was even without the money.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And so what we're talking about in creating a moral order, a healthy social order, we have to recognize that this horror that we have created, this America that we've created, has been a nightmare that has been successfully foisted on the people, and the people now are beginning to wake up to how bad it is now, but we have actually been, messing up things real bad since World War II.
I have a line by Joyce that maybe you know that we could add here.
Don't tell me, let me guess. Life is what Joe a nightmare, and that's so we're celebrating that tonight.
No,
at this moment
may
in
I
the morning.
say my couple of words?
Oh,
History is a nightmare from which I'm attempting to awaken. We may be awakening from the nightmare of history.
Can you feel it now?
Yeah.
You feel we are?
Yeah, exactly.
We are.
That's why your plan is coming into its time now. Seriously, that's all good stuff. Keep talking, brother.
So,
No, not the tape, Joe. No, I promise, Joe. No, it's really coming good. Keep talking. Yeah, he's right. Everything you said, it seems to me to make an awful lot of good sense. Just keep talking, brother.
Okay, so what it comes down to is this. People say McCain makes them feel desperate, and Obama makes them feel depressed. Now, these are people who are so disappointed that Obama has not taken a stand against the kinds of things that I'm alluding to, and yet using words like change. And so my plan is to take advantage of my new website names I bought.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not only going to be joefriendly.com, .net, .whatever, but I also bought Joe Change.
Okay, good for you.
So
that's
in the name of Joe Change, I'm going to say,
what?
may I, .com.
.com. .commercial.
I have them all. I have .com,
okay.
.tv.
Oh, you nailed down the full house. Okay, good. That's smart. You see, you've always been smart. Yeah. Mm.
I think I also got joechange.us.
Okay.
Along with sonofgod.us.
You got Joe Change Cosmic. Yeah. Okay. That's good. I'm glad because that gives you an avenue. And you're putting some things up on YouTube. You got a treasure trove of archive stuff that you're beginning to get out. Okay. But read on, my brother. Read on, because it's really, everything you said makes good sense to me.
So, in terms of McCain teasing Obama about you want to redistribute, well,
yeah.
we have to cut further down the capital gains tax, because we know that our constituents wants us to pretend to the rest of the 90% who don't have the wealth that it's a wonderful idea for them to pay less taxes.
Right. It's theater of the absurd, in a very real sense. Yeah.
So the question is, can I get it going? You got the idea.
Yeah.
I do need help. I need people who would like to put my old programs up on the internet.
Absolutely. They should be out there for all the world, yeah.
I'll just come to my place. I'll give you some tapes. We'll give you instructions. All it takes is a fast computer.
I know that, yeah. It's wonderful. It's just absolutely miraculous.
And I have like something of the order of many thousand.
How many is that many? I mean, take a guess. 1 to 10.
All right, here's
in hours.
Tell us, Joe, how many tapes do you got? I mean, they say thousands. I mean, is it like 3, 7? What?
No, what's your best guess?
Harold, you're going to have to get punished for a little bit.
No, not the tape.
I tell you, I got a deal for you.
Ernest Borgnine.
I got a deal for you. I made an offer. What we can do. I'm going slow so the camera can track me. Maybe that 2 shots,
Yeah, this is. Yeah.
No, that 2
No,
shots.
you're getting in the way of your thing scrolling past too.
Yeah, you can turn that off, guys. Yeah, just have here.
You're gonna.
You see, like
you're gonna just strangle? Is that?
All right, well, let's see. What do you think, gang?
Just hold it for me. Hold it.
We'll have a Democratic vote. Is it better like this?
You look like a bank robber.
Jesse James, we're going to steal this society and turn it into a revolutionary place of truth, justice, in the American way. No, not anyway, go on. Keep going. I'm serious. It's really good. All your thoughts are coming out really good to me.
Well, in addition to talking about economics,
yeah.
Or no, let's talk about economics. What I pictured for the,
your mic is hanging on one hair. You better get it a little bit more ensconced.
See if I can get it to my mustache. Would that work?
That's going to be a little close. You better bring the levels down.
Hey, now we can really hear Joe.
Joe, come on, Joe. Now just straighten up here now a little bit. Just a little bit of, this is not a Marx Brothers movie, brother. This is not.
I need more hair. I got to spin it a little.
Yeah, I got a hair. That's a hell of a beard. I could ask you, how long have you been growing? Never mind. I don't want to get off on sidetrack. Keep going, because what you're saying makes good sense, and this is a time for revolutionary thought. Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, what to do with our nation's wealth? So, let's talk about as a whole people. If we're talking about redistributing wealth, then I take us the next step. What it involves is we, as a whole people, decide what should we do with what we could do. In other words, our potential abilities and technologies. We could build new factories. We could decide we want to make new things. But we want to make them, we want to actually create a non-hierarchical order.
Right.
And what has been discovered, I think, is that we need a return to the human scale. So we're talking about creating groups of the order between 200 and 500 that would be responsible for at least one of the economic necessities. They could also try to be totally sustainable as far as having a garden that could solve all their problems. But in particular, what I saw in Yugoslavia that impressed me was a village, being entrusted with an important link in the entire creation of a truck. So they have a truck that the country signs their name to. This is the truck we've offered to the world. This is the best truck we can design. We're proud of what we've done. Everybody has worked together to make it good. And so this group of men and women work together with some machines and some raw material, and they make carburetors. And another group makes distributors. And another group makes spark plugs. And they
put them all together, you got Wonder Car, or you've got a good designed car.
But the idea is that the spirit in the work.
Yes, exactly. I understand.
It's like you don't have to drink when you come home.
Right, right. It's cooperative.
You don't need an aspirin. You don't have it. You don't feel on the job that that there is an injustice happening. Here, let me jump to that point.
Okay.
My plan for justice is that whenever in your heart you feel things are not right, just about, as best I can work out, I want there to be a human being responsible that we consider a judge, who will have the powers of a judge, that you can call them up on the phone or email them or send them a video message and tell your story. And this person will have the time, money, authority, all that it takes to respond, to say, oh, it's like a father, a mother, a God, whatever. You have a problem here? What's going on at work? And this person would arrive on the scene and talk with the people involved and say, are you picking on Jerry?
Is that like psychotherapy, ombudsman? Or
that would be a good name. It would be an ombudsman
accountability
idea.
Is involved, yeah.
But the scientific discovery I made that supports this idea is that there is in creation a type of human being that can take this authority and not abuse it. There is an individual that actually has a talent for being a good listener and resolving the variety of human-generated vectors into a just solution.
Yeah, it should be part of our judicial system. Sometimes it is not.
Well, as a student of law, what I learned was that law is an imposition placed like leather harnesses to keep judges from doing what they feel in their hearts is right.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think there's conflicts internally.
So the idea is to sacrifice those leather bounds and let the judge have his heart. But with using my scientific discovery of where the judges are, that we can give that much authority to. And the word for it is, are you ready?
Drum roll.
Aquarius.
Okay. On the astrologic thing, yeah.
That people born under the sign of Aquarius are where we should look. Just because you're an Aquarius don't mean you get to be a judge. But let's look there and see how they put things together, because I am pretty sure that I have made the observation. I'll tell you what I've done, Harold.
Yes, please do. Yeah. I know you really have a strong feeling for this, yeah. I know. Don't touch the duct tape. Not the duct tape. Okay.
I've gone to Aquarius.
Speaking of authoritarian. Okay.
And I've said I have a new plan for justice. We get rid of all the lawyers, all the laws, and all the judges, and instead we have a new kind of judge who will immediately go to the scene and make an immediate investigation. I mean, what we have now in our system is the opposite. You go lay out a couple of thou to get a lawyer, and when it finally gets to the judge, the information is cold and colorable and manipulated by friendships and money, and it's a mess. Which is one more argument that America needs salvation. I mean, it is a fact that our legal system is corrupt. We don't. We as a sham democracy, as a system that doesn't provide justice. Judge Judy is the closest thing we got to what I'm proposing. And if we did it, that's basically what I'm saying, kind of. Except that Judge Judy is a little too much like the old system with all the formalities.
Isn't it also characteristic of the broader world? By and large, I mean.
Well,
it's not a just world.
Hey, Harold. Now, just imagine the before and after of the taping there. You had to assert in your own special way that it's not a just world. That's not what we're talking about, Harold. We're talking about the before and after, and we're talking about the after.
Oh, I think there is a difference. There is a bridge that's been crossed.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So, so I meet these Aquariuses, and I tell them that I have a new idea for a judge, that they would respond immediately to a problem and have the full powers to compel testimony, truthful testimony, and to have the power to solve problems by making orders, like judges. We now have orders. You can order something, a commandment, you know. It could also have a big checkbook and write a big amount of, just cause money to happen somewhere. So anyhow, I ask these Aquarians, I'll say, hey, man, can you do the gig? And the Aquarians look me back in the eye without flinching and go, yeah, I could do that. I could listen to people's problems and make justice. Yeah, I'm good at that. So
what else are Aquarians good at?
Not much else. No, that's
well, that's all. Well, that's pretty much. You know, that's all. The judge not.
No. In terms of the different gifts that nature gives people, by virtue of your birth.
Yeah, you really have. Yeah, go ahead.
Harold, you see, you're into the commenting. Each little phrase gets another phrase by you, Harold. You see what I'm talking?
Well, I'm trying to avoid the duct tape treatment.
Just
the
pretend.
duct tape treatment.
You don't have to
all right. We'll do it one more time, just for.
Okay, just keep it there for a while. Just while I'm talking, I mean. No, come on, it's good.
No. Does that make you happy? Does it, Joe?
Okay.
For humanity's sake. Yeah. Okay. Point well made. Okay.
All right. Just gives you a little mustache, you know.
Yeah, I saw that. That was very clever. You're always clever, you boys. Yeah. Talk on, brother.
I wanted the tape. I didn't get the tape.
So who would be the best for statesmen or political leaders and so forth in this?
Now let's talk a little bit more about Radio Shack.
Okay, Radio Shack.
Now what I wanted to have created is, I'm saying, help me, I didn't get more on that. What I'd like to do is to create a website where we talk about peaceful revolution. I have that website. So you go to peacefulrevolution.com, .net, .org, there I got them all, .tv. And in there, we create the future by saying, what are the problems in a particular industry, in a particular factory, and what are the solutions? Well, once you know the problem, you can say, well, quit doing that, quit doing this, and instead do that. Okay. So there is a pretty obvious path in terms of articulating the problem, in terms of you do have a free hand to discuss the solution. And let's put up, and what I thought was we could welcome input from people who've been fired, from people who've been burned, from people who have been hurt, customers. Let's get it out in the open, the changes we want to make. But the fact is we have to embrace at the same time the facts of life, that the climate crisis and peak oil are a reality that is going to demand dramatic changes in just about everything. For example, in terms of rationalizing, rearranging property, incidentally, right now people would argue, how dare you talk about taking my $30 million building that I arranged with the contractors, I got the loan, I got it already 75% paid for, and you're going to take my $30 million building away from me because you think you can decide better who to put in the rooms? And I say not me personally, but I'm saying the public can decide ideally, fairly, justly, what is a good order. But here's the answer to that guy with the 30 million, is that he's going to come to the government and say, I don't have a building. Can you please let me in on some of the wealth after the 300-foot high ocean wave comes from Greenland at 600 miles an hour and takes away the northeastern United States? Then he's going to say, hey there in Oklahoma, I'd be interested in sharing your bedroom with you.
The Highlands suddenly look good to me. Yeah.
So I think that we have to, before we need it, it would be a little more elegant to see the high moral path.
Yes.
Okay. So when it comes to Radio Shack,
yes,
I remember Radio Shack bought out Allied Radio.
Okay.
And Allied Radio was sort of oriented in terms of a service to engineers. It was a wholesale operation. And Radio Shack is a retail organization. Now, the difference between a wholesale place talking to, who does wholesale places selling electronics talk to? Engineers, and purchasing agents.
Right.
But it's a negotiation between the engineer who's working in his own company and the purchasing agent. He decides what they want, and the purchasing agent tries to get it at the best place, cheapest, fastest, secure, whatever.
Right.
Okay. So the language that engineers demand, more or less, or they'll go somewhere else, is a truthful language.
Right.
But in a retail modality, is a degradation of that, because you're only a dummy, so therefore we can lie to you and play games and show you a woman with nice breasts to get you to buy this electronic capacitor.
Yeah.
So in terms of rescuing our culture from commercialism, what we're talking about is facing that. What's the time? All right, tell me.
We've got 39, so we're 28 to go.
Well, we got a lot done.
Yeah. We've got a lot in, you got more to come. Go. Teach.
I think if the stills of you holding this up, I think it's going to be all around.
That makes it worth the effort. Okay, I'm glad we put joy into your heart. Yeah. Yeah, as a stage produced thing.
So the cure of Radio Shack is to not necessarily return to pretend you're talking to engineers, but in terms of the salvation of our culture from commercialism.
Yeah.
What we're talking about is replacing advertising as we know it with the obligation to treat the public as the owner, as the boss, as the guy who wants the executive summary straight dope, wants the truth. And that there would be a logic to that because all the people involved feel in their hearts that the public is the owner.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Truth in advertising or truth in information.
I wouldn't even be advertising anymore. It would just be communication, and we want to just accomplish the flow of information, truthful information, as efficiently and thoroughly and usefully and justly and fairly and stuff like that.
Not a small matter. Not really. That's not a small matter at all.
But it is a normal, I think it's the normal, healthy path that people feel like taking, and then commercialism says, no, the corporate policy is that it's more profitable to do it this way and trick them a little and don't mention this. And
manipulate them this way and all that, yeah.
Another thing in terms of rescuing our culture from commercialism is to consider what television would be like the before and the after part. Now, television is guilty at this point of being so in the pocket of the wealthy that they have skewed their plot lines in their dramas to support their agenda. So there, in terms of the before and after, can you imagine websites where we have threads discussing, to tell you the truth, we need more than threads. We need, in terms of choreographing the big discussion that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
One thing I had arrived at earlier was a list of prominent voices, faces in the left, and have them buy into this and say, okay, I like Joe's idea, and let's take it this direction in the corporate world, and this direction as far as using energy, and this direction as far as ecological planning. But in particular, we do need the national discussion. It would be better, before we hit bottom, that we already recognize that our country is in unworthy hands, that we need a whole new set of political institutions, a whole new set of people. We need a new government, and we can look back historically that by the grace of God, it wasn't a nuclear explosion that ended America, but America just happened to come to its senses.
Amen, yeah. Yeah, okay, good, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, agree with all that.
It could be done on your show, Harold.
Well, that's what we're thinking of.
We're gonna say goodbye to the nightmare of history.
Well, thank you, James Joyce, and the artists.
But
and stuff,
but we can go past. Can you see it, brother?
Yeah, I feel it. I mean, this is a time of qualitative change. I feel very strong.
So I think I'm the first guy to talk out loud about power, commercialism, as opposed to Marxist rhetoric about capitalism, saying that taking orders is psychological castration. And therefore, in the name of Thomas Jefferson and all men are created equal, we are entitled to a social order, a way of earning our livings in which we are reasoned with rather than commanded.
Yeah, absolutely, non-authoritarian. And all our institutions are authoritarian.
So that's just a couple of words.
Yeah, I know.
So when they say there's no alternative, that's the words of the alternative.
A non-authoritarian social.
And that's the stuff on the screen that's going by.
Yeah, it's a big order, but it's absolutely rings true. I mean, we're going to talk with Seth Farber later on psychology, and I think nobody's happy. There are people that like to have structure.
Harold, wait.
I won't get off on anything.
No, psychology, all right. Now here's the thing on psychology.
Well, I think of individual identity.
When it comes to psychology, I have cornered the market.
Okay. Right.
No, what I've discovered about birth date is enough to keep the psychologist busy for 1,000 years. I mean, basically, what I've discovered is a periodic table of the human elements.
I know.
Yeah, and therefore, we're talking psychology. We're talking philosophy. And there is a bunch of words with the blue that are even better words that will be available on sonofgod.us soon.
No, you have this up on a site. You have it up on a site now? I mean, this thing that you're scrolling
Coming
in front of.
No, it isn't yet.
It isn't, but it's soon to come. Coming to a theater near you soon. Or to a computer screen.
Web helpers out there, and yeah, I could use anybody. Give me a call. You know, I'm in the book, and I got my email is on the screen once in a while. JoeFriendly@Earthlink. That get you there.
Go by all means. This
and what
is a
happens
treasure.
if you write Earthlink.com? Do you think they route it to
I don't know what would happen. You could try it. Just try it.
Earthlink.net has actually bought .com, and they have just
maybe that's an interesting thing. They got all kinds of. I'm TV.tv, and they got .biz and all kinds of things. Yeah, internet is an amazing thing. Yeah.
Now the words of Confucius are invoked here.
Okay.
Confucius says, when a society has outgrown its social forms, can you think of any of them?
I can't remember the rest.
It can make a graceful revolution, a graceful transition to appropriate social forms by an extraordinary individual with a gift with words, first winning the people's trust, attention, confidence by demonstrating the value of accurately measuring the seasons. And once they're all excited about his discoveries about birthday, then he'll talk them into a peaceful revolution.
How much is that all Confucian, or no? How much of that was Confucia?
100%.
Oh, that was all he said, literally? About birthdays?
Here's his literal words.
Okay, yeah, let's go to the original source. Not the tape. Not the tape.
Harold, you're starting to break out of the corral.
No. Go on.
Come on now.
No.
Maybe I'll hold your hand and I'll squeeze
all
your
right,
finger.
that'll help. Yes. No, these are words of wisdom coming down. Yeah. I know you've been working on this a long. Go ahead. Yeah.
You know, birthday-wise, Harold.
We have 11
Your
minutes
birthday
left.
is March 14th?
March 14th, Albert Einstein's birthday.
And mine is March 10.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And that guy, Vito Facelli.
I don't know.
He's this good-looking congressman who got caught leading a double life with another wife and a kid.
Oh, dear. Another one. Huh?
And he's March 9th.
Mm-hmm.
But in particular, Monroe is March 10th.
Monroe, president?
No, Monroe, the guy who is obsessed with his voice being heard on the airwaves of WBI radio when there's time to call in.
Oh, yes, Monroe, of course, yeah. He was here one night when we were taping, yeah. He came forth with a great deal of volume, yes, and certainty, yeah.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
Now, what can you conclude when his birthday is March 10 and I'm March 10 and March 14? I mean, do you see the syndrome? What we're talking about? It's something about talking. It's a talking thing.
Yeah. Well, that fits right in. Too much, maybe. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Okay.
Give me that one more time, all right?
No. Oh no. All right.
Go ahead, let's go ear to ear. You know,
I don't want to go to ear to ear.
You know what I could do is at the end. At the end of it, I could stick it to itself. You know, then it really sticks.
You remind me of the sergeants in the United States Army.
I'll tell you
They never wanted to listen to ideas about how we could do things democratically. Drill sergeants in the Marine Corps, they don't seem to want to hear that. You don't need that, Joe, because your words are golden. You don't need to. You should talk more. You should be more talk, you know. Now you're going to frown. Yeah, you're having more fun than the law allows.
Come on, Harold.
There's a law against you having so much fun. All right, everybody. This makes Joe Friendly happy. You got a smiley face, right?
Now, are you willing to
and I can't
say that
get
I've
the
replaced
words. The words get all fouled up or something. Yeah.
You know where Kelso fits in a little bit.
He fits in majorly. Yeah.
No.
Well, to me, yeah. I know.
Is that what I'm proposing is that we do all kinds of experimenting in our social organizations with factories, making things. So let's discover as a whole people. Oh, I got some language here.
Okay.
I got it. For the good of the planet, the path advocated here is that we use our productive capacity to produce an abundance of high-quality, durable necessities that will be a new standard for the world. We create a post-scarcity environment and simplify the marketplace, the straight truth, no gimmicks, an end to the selling game, the wasteful packaging. That's another thing. You know, it's like once we clean up the relationship so that we're not trying to fool each other, con each other, but we're trying to be just truthful, fair, just, and all that.
Right.
Then we don't need the packaging games that are going on. You know, we don't have to worry about they're going to steal. So, you know, like right now, a lot of packaging is involved in minimizing shoplifting.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
They try to make the package too big to fit in a pocket.
Yeah.
Now, if we could feel that everyone was content with their lives, that they felt they were paid enough, that they were treated fairly.
Wouldn't occur to them to shoplift.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So that's what that's a healthy order, and that's what
it sure would be.
And it sounds utopian. You know, some people would say, it's utopian, get out of here. But as long as we're redesigning society, that's what I'm saying we're supposed to do. Is we're supposed to create an order in which you can leave your door open.
Yeah, right.
Unlocked.
That's a good one. You've got that trademarked. That term. We're creating a society, you could leave your door unlocked. Yeah. That there's truth in that. There's tremendous truth in that, yeah.
Well, it is true in some cities, in the United States, some towns, that you leave your door unlocked.
Yeah. Well, I always did almost all my life.
And I will say this further, that the newspapers, the commercial newspapers, have learned that they can sell more newspapers with scare stories. So they scare people into not trusting. They scare people into politicians that manipulate that fear. They sell out to the police forces. It is a fact that is worth mentioning that right now, along with calling us a sham democracy and all that, we have the police state phenomenon developing.
It's developing in really alarming proportions, a possibility.
It's fell off already. Hold this here, everybody. I got
What's wrong? You got something? He's got something happening?
I got something to say.
Oh, he's got to take off his shirt. I got to hold the thing. What are you doing here? You're taking a striptease. Oh, okay. Here we go. And you got under the beard. You ought to move your beard, or it says, ladies and gentlemen, investigate 9/11, honor the fallen.
I'll take care of it here.
Oh, okay. I was sure they could read it.
Yeah. Monroe, easy, Monroe.
By endless pursuit of truth. Honor the fallen by the endless pursuit of truth. Nah, those are worth considering.
So, often when we talk about 9/11, people would say that if the public were actually convinced that what we're saying is true, that when a building comes down in 10 seconds, the official story of jet fuel is nonsense. We're talking professionally placed cutting charges by a firm that knows how to do it. They ordinarily bring buildings down in 10 seconds, right?
With regularity, yeah.
That's how you do when you bring a building down. You use the speed of gravity to help you. You use the forces of gravity. So
bring it right down in its footprint. Yeah.
So the more you can use the forces of gravity, the less explosives you need. But then again, in the 9/11 disaster, they went one extra step. That in controlled demolition, ordinarily, the object is to bring everything down and then haul it away. But the towers had so much mass that the decision was made to explode a lot of that into a very fine dust so that it would just be washed away. And that made the trucking a fraction of what it would have been if they had to haul away all the concrete. So the concrete was in fairly thin sections of 4 inches was the flooring on steel pans, and that all went up into a fine dust, which does not happen with a collapse. A collapse is just a kind of a mild crunch, but an explosion. And I carry with me, Harold, to go along with this hat. Sometimes
put it on for the camera.
I wear this hat.
You've got many hats you wear.
And I like to have a DVD to give away free at that moment when I get engaged people. 9/11 Mysteries is my favorite. A lot of people have seen Loose Change. It's pretty good. But I have in my wallet. I say, I want you to see my baby. So they think it's a baby picture.
Okay.
But you're worried about the time. Take it easy.
Let me hold it, and then I'll hold it up to the camera. They'll have to come in.
I want you to look at it. And here's the question. Well, here's what this picture tries to do.
Okay, we only got 2 minutes left. Okay.
What this picture tries to do is to answer the question: was it an explosion or a collapse?
Mm-hmm.
You look at it first.
Well, okay, but let's show it. I see
a sheep. Just look at it. Look at it. Now,
oh,
tell
yeah.
me, seriously. Sit down. Is this picture? Let's assume we can't even show it to them. But
let's get in on it for the audience. Come in. It'll take them a minute to come in.
Anyhow, it's obvious when you look at the picture. That's the characteristic look of explosions in which little elements, which turned out to be hunks of steel, maybe 20 feet long, 30 feet long, are being thrust upward and outward at very high velocity.
Yeah.
Which happens with an explosion. And when you look at a volcano exploding, you see how the clouds have their special look. When you look at the explosions on a battlefield, you know what explosions look like. Those are the billowing evidence of explosives. Yeah. Anyhow, so the public is going to wake up and they're going to say, oh, what if we have to, what are we supposed to do, replace the whole government?
Yeah, well, that's an indication that the nefarious elements within our society, and there's some people who think there was manipulation of the images and so forth. And they were cartoons; they weren't really the same. So, but it's a condemnation of the system. Well, and that's a big thing that brings into doubt the validity of the system in which we live, which we're doing. And the history seems to be.
It was a trick to bring in a police state.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right.
And I've just been reading on the internet. You probably read today that they're already planning, in case they steal the election, to deal with the unrest.
Yeah, they are seriously. They got a place down in Georgia with coffins, internal security threat. That kind of stuff is back in force seriously in a lot of different dimensions. They just passed a thing recently. It's very dangerous that they're going to be outright. They're going to be worried about internal security if there's a revolutionary turn that takes a militant direction out of the failures that are coming on now. Very crucial time. It also maybe has the promise of a revolutionary change that will be birthing a new way of being, a liberation of the human society. Your work, your manifesto is very important. Everyone's encouraged to go to it, and particularly your life's work, which is such a very well-led life, is part of a process by which we could have a peaceful revolution by opening up our thought processes. And I thank you enormously, Joe, for all the work you've been doing over all these years. And everyone is encouraged to watch free, Truth for a Change. That's a double entendre. It's beautiful. Truth for a Change, because you understand, it's a double. You don't get much of it, and it would be nice to have something different than the normal stuff we get.
Truth for fundamental change.
Truth for, yes, to get in on your original title of your first series was Fundamental Change. You've been in that vineyard for a long time. Thanks for all the work. Thanks for coming in. We've run out of time. Thank you for viewing. We'll be coming back again tomorrow on Channel 34 of the Time Warner system by public access television, one of the DNA elements of a free, liberating order, along with open source communication in our internet. Hopeful times and signs. Okay. Okay, I think we can stop talking because it's not taping anymore. Okay.
You were good for it.
Well, I couldn't. What am I going to get? Dressed up with duct tape? You've been threatening me with all these years, and the hell of it is, Joe.
Yeah.
It worked.